Don McCullin is a British photojournalist that is internationally recognized for his photographs of war and his specialization in capturing the underside of society in his images. This includes photos of the unemployed, those living in extreme poverty, and people who have been oppressed or victimized. However, his war photography is his most predominant and famous work over the years. Given that the main topic of his work is revealing the truths of tragedy and conflict around the globe, his images are mainly ethically evaluative, as you will see in his next photographs. McCullin first became recognized when his photo titled "The Governors" was published in the Observer newspaper in 1958. This photograph pictures a gang from Finsbury Park, London, who was responsible for the murder of a police officer. The low perspective of this photograph makes the viewer feel inferior to the gang. The rule of odds makes this photograph more appealing since there is an unbalanced number on each side of the destroyed building, 4 on the left and 3 on the right. The different heights of the men also give the photograph a more interesting and balanced appearance. As mentioned, McCullin is most well known for his photography of war, specifically the Vietnam War. He captures moments of fear, terror, struggle, and disaster that gives a true depiction of the horrors on and off of the battlefield. In this photograph, he captures a moment between a father and young child who have both been casualties of the Vietnam War. The bullseye approach to this photograph captures the innocent gaze of the baby, which draws the attention to the distraught, mortified face of the father. Black and white makes the deep color of the blood pop off the white clothing and light skin, making the bleeding hand and face a strong focal point of the image. McCullin photographed civilians, soldiers, the wounded, the scared, all aspects of war that he saw around him. This image shows a shell-shocked U.S. Marine after the 1968 Tet Offensive in South Vietnam. You can see the trauma and exhaustion in the eyes of the soldier as a result of fighting in battle. McCullin's use of black and white brings out the whites of his eyes under the dark shadow of his helmet. His bright white eyes communicate the fear and trauma he is feeling after witnessing the horrors of war. The contrast of dirt against his face and uniform also suggests the events that he just endured. In this strong, ethically evaluative photograph, the viewer can closely see the details of what the war has done to this man. The black and white photograph helps to accentuate the wrinkles on his face, the knots in his hair, and the dirt and debris that cover his skin. McCullin photographed many other wars and man-made catastrophes as well. In this photograph, McCullin expresses his own sympathy about this image of a husband mourning the death of his wife alongside his children as he recalls his own family back home.
While most of McCullin's photographs act as a window into the real-life situations occurring around the world, this picture is more of a mirror, or a reflection into McCullin's own emotions while witnessing this death.
McCullin is also very famous for his photo shoot with the very popular band The Beatles in the 1960s. This photo shoot of the 4 musicians, called Mad Day Out, features many very famous photographs of the band we see today. This image was particularly eye-catching to me due to the interesting sidelight that is casting shadows of leaves onto the subjects. The red jacket creates a contrast against the greenery in the background. The subjects also nicely balance out the image and fade into the background, giving the photograph the appearance of layers and depth. This year, McCullin has been named Photo London Master of Photography for what The Guardian has called some of the most famous images associated with conflict in the 20th and 21st centuries. A collection of Don McCullin's famous works can now be seen in the Shaped by War exhibit in the Imperial War Museum in London.